Due to the graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised. Everyone makes mistakes, but some people are dumb enough to make them on camera. 4 clueless cowboys play cards in a bull ring until this fellow horns in on the game. A careless contractor tries to topple a chimney, but brings down the whole house instead. A dim-witted diver runs out of food, so this stingray takes a bite out of him. A toll bridge operator falls asleep at the switch and proves his waterway is a real rip-off. And when a ditzy daredevil bolts a jet engine to his car, he takes stupid behavior to new heights. If it's off the wall and it's on tape, then it's all here. It's totally outrageous behavior.
Daredevil Ken Powers is about to attempt the craziest stunt of his career. He plans to break the world record for the longest jump by shooting his car across the St. Lawrence River from Canada to New York, a distance of over 1 mile.
I always liked the state of New York, so I'm sure I hope they like me when I get there.
So he builds an 85-foot ramp and straps a super-powered rocket jet to his car. Even today, Ken insists it was a great plan.
You could put a rocket in an elephant's back end, and it's going to go whichever way it's aimed at 400 miles an hour.
Using these precise calculations, Ken diligently prepares for the big moment.
I had been in the car, but I'd never driven it.
That's right. Evidently, Ken had plenty of time to strap an aircraft engine on the back of his car, but he just couldn't find 10 minutes to test it.
Go, do it now!
Ken fastens himself in, revs the engine, gives the signal, and he's off. Ken rockets down the runway at 180 miles per hour, and his incredible jet car disintegrates in midair. The good news is Ken's got 6 parachutes. The bad news is 5 of them are tangled up.
I know what goes up has to come down, and I'm seeing chutes blow off, and I'm thinking, are there any left?
Thankfully, the one functioning chute manages to right the car just before he lands gently in the water.
God knows what it would have done upside down. I mean, they might still be looking for my eyeballs.
So what went wrong with the jump? It couldn't have been the top-notch equipment.
The chutes were wrong. The ramp was wrong. The car was wrong. It wasn't stable.
Evidently, neither was Ken for trying a lame-brain stunt like this. The shaken stuntman suffered a few broken bones, but after a little vacation in the Bahamas, he was good as new.
It actually took me about 4 months before I could really walk good.
Ken may not have broken a world record, but when it comes to stupid behavior, he's off the charts. This master craftsman is trying to teach his apprentice how to demolish a chimney. The trainee tries to knock it into the yard. But Mr. Fix-It insists that they topple the chimney onto the roof instead. When his pupil hesitates, the boss decides to finish the job on his own. And he's floored by the results. This foolish roofer can't blame anyone but himself. Because in this demolition derby, it's clear he's the only fall guy. It's a beautiful day to sail down the Welland Canal, the commercial waterway between Thunder Bay and Lake Ontario. The captain of the wind dock knows that nothing can stand in the way of this peaceful voyage. Except maybe a 5,000-ton drawbridge. The idiot operating the elevated bridge isn't paying attention and lowers it onto the wind dock, shearing off the wheelhouse and smokestacks. Miraculously, the ship's crew escapes with seconds to spare. Once the bridge operator notices his little faux pas, he raises the bridge, thankful that things can't get any worse. Or can they? Flaming oil pours from the ruptured fuel tanks onto the deck, And now 44,000 tons of wheat in the belly of the ship are on fire. The bridge and the ship will cost over $10 million to repair. An investigation reveals the bridge operator went to work after enjoying a half a bottle of wine and some painkillers. Perhaps he didn't know that a 5,000-ton drawbridge qualifies as that heavy machinery you're not supposed to operate while medicated. But after lowering the boom on this boat, Mr. Tipsy will only be allowed to play bridge, not control one. This is former South Carolina State running back number 28, Ronald Gohagen.
My nickname is Go-Go.
Go-Go's mom always told him to wear clean underwear in case he got into an accident. But she never saw this coming. During a tackle, an opposing player grabs the waistband of Ron's athletic supporter.
He just reached to basically grab what he could, and he ended up grabbing my jersey as well as my jockstrap.
Undaunted, Go-Go leaves a trail of thread all over the field.
The tailback, I got to the huddle and he started laughing, said, "Man, you look like a mummy unraveling."
But the loss of yarn doesn't faze Go-Go. He barely notices the pesky 10 yards of string. Finally, an alert referee tears off Ronald's threads, but he's not unstrung.
You need to work hard and continue to run and run hard until you run out of your jock. So literally, I ran out of my jock.
One thing is certain, next time Ronald Gohagen suits up for the big game, he'll double check to make sure that his jockstrap is first string. Sisters Terry and Suzanne discover an intruder has entered their home. They both fear for their lives. The sisters bravely prepare for battle.
I need my helmet and my shield on.
Terry's cautious husband, Scott, stays safely behind the camera. They've cornered the fiend in the bathroom. Now they must find the courage to look their attacker in the eye. It's a baby bird.
When it's flipping around and flying around, it was like it was a huge pterodactyl or something coming after him.
I thought it was going to get me.
Finally, the not-so-dynamic duo realizes they're out of their league.
How are we going to catch it? I don't know.
So they call the fire department.
And they had him out in no time at all, really. We'd done all the hard work.
To look back at it now, we looked really, really silly.
Seems when it comes to birds, these flighty sisters are just big chickens.
Coming up, this groom promised to have and to hold. He just didn't hold on long enough. Plus, these pea-brained poker players better know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to run. And this man's classic T-Bird doesn't have a scratch on it. Until his daughter forgets how to find reverse. And later, a moronic motorist bends over backwards to get out of a traffic ticket. When totally outrageous behavior continues.
Amateur stuntman Barry Goldstein likes making his own movies. And today he's shooting a little something he calls Let's Drag Barry from a Truck.
It's gonna hurt.
Because he'll be pulled across rocks and asphalt, Barry has on 9 layers of clothing, plus some high-tech protective gear.
I had a plastic pad, and I also had a styrofoam cooler lid.
With his foot tied securely to the bumper, Barry gives the go-ahead. The truck kicks into gear, pulling Barry off his feet and dragging him across the field. Looks like the stunt is working. That is until Barry's backside hits the asphalt at 25 miles an hour.
As soon as I hit the road, I realized, uh-oh, this could go very wrong. Within 50 feet, it had gone through all 9 layers and was starting to eat into my skin.
Oh, my back! Oh!
Fortunately, he suffered only a minor case of road rash.
Oh, that's what you call hot seat.
But why didn't the truck stop when Barry started screaming?
I had told them that when I start yelling, don't worry about it. It's just for the skit.
As for Barry's video, it's earning mixed reviews.
Some people think it's cool, and other people think it's stupid.
Stupid? Now what would give them that idea?
Oh, my back! Oh!
Jimmy Clark marries his bride Eva in a Western-style wedding. The ceremony goes off without a hitch. That is, until their limo turns out to be a horse. Unfortunately, Jimmy forgot to tell Eva not to wear heels. And when she accidentally digs those stiletto spikes into the horse's belly, it decides to gallop into the sunset. Looks like this bride got dumped on her own wedding day. Luckily, her bustle took the brunt of the fall. Eva warned her husband that if he tried this stunt again, there'd be no horsing around on their honeymoon.
Right on the set.
They're shooting a television commercial for a car dealership in Arizona, featuring a family of real-life customers.
Action.
My dad bought this car from Don Sanderson Ford 30 years ago. David Kimberly worked on the lube rack then. My daughter just bought this new Taurus.
Too bad she doesn't know how to drive it.
A lot of changes at Don Sanderson Ford. Look, parts.
Now this T-Bird owner is teed off. Seems this amateur actress doesn't take direction well. At least when it comes to forward and reverse. These actors won't have a chance to chew up the scenery. It's burning up instead. A stage light has ignited the curtain, but rather than stop and dial 911, the performers feel the show must go on. This amateur stair tries to tap out the flames, but he can't seem to dance to save his life. The music keeps playing as the last bit of scenery burns away. But at least this cut-rate chorus boy can say that for once in his life, he lit up the stage. This burglar has just broken into the warehouse of a clothing store. But before he steals their pants, he takes off his own. Then he does something even stranger. He stands in front of an industrial-strength fan and does a little dirty dancing. Better not get too close. Fortunately, he stops in the nick of time and continues to clean out the store. But breaking the law is hard work. So the overheated thief decides to drop his drawers and cool off once more. There's a problem, though. He's wasted so much time that he's given the cops plenty of time to arrive on the scene. Guess this criminal learned his lesson. Never to rob a strip mall again. There's nothing more relaxing than a friendly little game of cards. But wait until you see Jason Guard and his pals play it. In this game, the winner is the last man sitting at the table.
If you sit there at the table and don't move, you win the money.
What's so stupid about that? Check out who's joining the game.
That's 2,000 pounds of horns and hair running around the arena, wanting to hit anything in its path.
This is bull poker. Since Jason's been hit once, he's supposed to leave, but he dumbly decides to stay in the game. The bull gets ready for another run. And guess who he hits? His favorite, Jason.
Definitely didn't like my outfit.
This bull really wants to join the game, but there's not an empty seat. There is now. After a trouncing like this, Jason will certainly crawl to safety. Certainly not.
It was probably not the smartest thing to do.
Jason must be a slow learner because the bull singles him out over and over. Finally, this poker player is ready to fold.
I'm retired from bull poker forever. If it is a sport, it's a stupid sport. The bull always wins.
When this card shark decided to go head-to-head with the bull, he wasn't playing with a full deck.
Up next, after this sunbather hits the bottle, she learns there's nothing worse than a champagne headache. Plus, a foolish farmer discovers that removing a post is not all it's cracked up to be. Then later, a dim-witted daredevil learns that only Superman can leap tall buildings in a single bound. When totally outrageous behavior continues.
In Largo, Florida, two cops grill a suspected drunk driver.
Walk right to the back of the ball and make no line.
Wisely, the motorist decides to cooperate.
Okay. Hands on the side. Hands on the side.
But before he walks the line, he gets cute with the camera.
Hi, Mom.
Then, carefully, he makes his way down the yellow line. So far, so good. Looks like he's happily off the hook. So he does a little dance. He's so sure he's convinced the cops he's sober, he jumps for joy. He should have quit while he was ahead. So with the help of the officers, he's finally able to walk a straight line.
Right in front of you.
Directly to the cruiser. So remember, if the police try to put you to the test, don't flip out. This happy family is spending the day on their beautiful new boat.
Hey!
And this bikini-clad beauty has the honor of christening the craft.
Now, christening, just add water.
But the bubbly just won't break. Maybe it's not the first time today she's been hitting the bottle. She tries to loosen the cork, but the top just won't pop. But the pressure inside the bottle is building. And finally, she gets christened instead of the boat.
Hey, did the cork nail you in the face?
She's okay, but she's giving up the bottle for good. This man wants to remove an unsightly post from his property. But instead of simply digging it up, this genius thinks breaking the post will be less of a pain. Unfortunately, it's not. He got too pushy. And now he's all wet. At an auto show in Detroit, some car company executives demonstrate that the back of their minivan can hold 4 adults. But although 4 can get in, it seems they can't get out. Looks like these businessmen know everything about their car, except how to unlock the door. Eventually, they're able to exit without calling a locksmith. This company claims their doors are child-proof, and it's safe to say they're idiot-proof too.
You know that wasn't planned.
To fulfill his dream of swimming with stingrays, this bozo brought along a little bait. And before long, he's providing lunch for an entire school of the hungry sea creatures. Unfortunately, the man runs out of food by the time this straggler shows up. But not to worry. The starving stingray soon finds something else to munch on. At least this guy will have a funny story to tell his kids. If he's still able to have any. This man has designed a device that prevents trucks from backing into pedestrians.
Very confident. I have done this quite a few times, and it does stop.
In this demonstration, the big rig rolls closer as the cocky inventor smiles for the camera. He's confident that this newly equipped truck will make quite an impression. And he's right. Now, instead of going to the patent office, he'll be going to the doctor's office.
Coming up next, when this brainless biker tries to ramp up his career, he hits a brick wall. When totally outrageous behavior continues.
This guy doesn't have stupid written all over him, but he's got just about everything else. He's Flush Fernandez, BMX stuntman extraordinaire. And on this fateful Southern California afternoon, he's constructed this impressive ramp to launch him into the record books.
I personally build my own ramps, and this one was, I know, the right one to get up on that.
After months of meticulous planning, Flush is going to jump onto the roof of this apartment building.
Here to bust the big one, show him what's up.
First, he takes a couple of practice passes. With his speed and power, this is going to be a cinch. But then Flush has a flash of brilliance. He decides to tie a rope to the back of his buddy's van. After all, going faster will make him fly even higher. Finally, he's ready. The van speeds down the street with Flush in tow. He takes a deep breath and flies into the side of the building.
First thing I know, I'm in the air. Next thing I know, I'm slamming into the side of the building.
Luckily, a large cactus cushions his 25-foot fall. Remarkably, he's able to walk away. How could this brilliant plan have gone south?
I had no preparations. I just do the most outrageous stunts that anybody's ever seen in their life.
And how did this outrageous stunt look from his point of view? Let's check out his helmet cam. At least one thing is for sure. If he's smart, he'll never try a crazy stunt like this again.
I swear that I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna do it by this summer.